Mates, today we're back in the tribal forest and we're actually going to be hunting another mythical creature that isn't the green buffalo, but the legendary monster moose man of the tribal forest. Alright mates, so as you know from episode 2, these forests are known to have some myths surrounding them based on the tribal legends. It said there are a few cryptids around these parts, and I want to look for them because I've heard there's some scary creatures. Alright mates, we're looking for this this moose man around here, and maybe whatever other animals we might be able to find. It said there's a lot of ancient legends, and as you know, lots of ancient animals, so hopefully we'll be able to find a few today. But most importantly, the moose man. Maybe the green buffalo if he's around, but today we're focused on the moose man. Alright mate, there's this little river here. I think it could be something. Now the ground here is a bit lush. Ooh, what could that be? I think that could be the call of a tribal bird. They're said to live in these parts. They're known for their great tribal significance. I'm trying to see if I can spot them up in the trees, but they are quite hard to find because their feathers are green. I don't know. I don't see them, but there's one around, and that's a good sign because they're said to have a symbiotic relationship with the monster moose man of tribal forest. That's a very good sign. I'll see if I can get further down this this river and see what else we can find. Alright mates, I don't know if you can see him right out there, but there's a little robin hopping around by the river. Quite an interesting little creature. Wonder what he's doing. Maybe he's looking for worms in the dirt. Wet dirt, which is also called mud. In that, worms surface up so they can breathe. So this is a really good place for birds to be looking for mud. And he's off. Guess he didn't find any worms there. But unlike the bird not finding worms, we won't not be finding that moose man. We will find it. So we're gonna head on and see what more we can find. Alright, I'm gonna try to see. The ground is quite muddy, but I'm gonna see if I can sneak through into this lush area. Oh, yep, there I'm stepping in the mud. Lots of mud and the spider web. Let's see. There's no way around without stepping in the mud, but sometimes when you're a bushman, you gotta get a bit dirty. That's just part of the job. There's a little hole over there, if you can see. There's a tribal bird again. Let's see. I don't see him over here, but it's very much possible that we could find him out in the distance. Ooh, there's this little ground down here. I'm gonna try to... Man, that tribal bird is really active, jeez. Alright. I don't think we'll be able to get through here without getting a bit dirty. But not just dirty, but wet too. And I'm not in the proper bushman gear to be wet. So I'm gonna go back to the main forest, and I'm gonna see if I can find that moose man or that tribal bird. Alright mates, we're gonna head back up a little bit, see if there's anything we missed up in this upper area. Now there's this, what we were looking at before, this streaming hole. It's possible the moose man could be living in these dark tunnels. I'm not certain. I don't see any fish in here, but looks a bit muddy to tell. It's possible that the Alaskan mudfish could be living in there. An invasive species to these parts, as this is not Alaska, but they're said to live in these parts. I am curious if down that hole, a long distance, the moose man could be down there, and maybe we'll find him. But we're not gonna go in there right now because I don't have a flashlight, and that's not good. I'll bring a flashlight next time, as I should. But we're gonna head back to the main part of the forest and see what we can find there. Because, you know, now that we haven't been there, there's a good chance he might have come back, and that's a good thing. Alright mates, I found some fungus. Always a good find. They're going down this whole tree. I think we actually found this same fungus back in episode 2. But good to know the mushrooms are still flourishing around these parts. Alright mates, so I was walking, I don't know if you can see that. There's something a bit orange in the distance. Oh my god, is that him? Oh my god. Oh my god mates, that's him. It's the moose man. Oh my god. What? No, come back! Alright mates, we lost him. He ran into the bush. No pun intended. What? No! I think if we look through the bushes and we look through the trees, we should be able... What is that? Is that... Oh my god, that's him. He's running away. Oh man. Alright mates, as we just saw, the moose man is wandering around these parts. We can try to follow him down the way he went and see if we can see him run around over there. Now, you may be thinking, Digger, why can't you just lure the moose out with some delicious food? And I actually have a muffin here to do that with. But you would think that's actually a good idea to lure him out. But it's actually not. It's actually a very bad idea. Because what could happen is, if you give a moose some muffin, right, they will really like the muffin and then it'll run off. And not only is that bad because we're trying to get him and he runs away, but he's going to go find another person, another bushman, and try to get another muffin from him. And if he doesn't get a muffin, he's going to kill him. He's going to kill someone if we give him this muffin. Unless that someone gives him another muffin. And then it's the end of the cycle of the moose getting muffins and killing people. So we're not going to give the moose this muffin. We're just going to keep the muffin to ourselves, and we're just going to look for the moose the old-fashioned bushman way. Alright, this is where he jumped down to, which is over here. As you can see, the ground seems to be a bit flooded. It's a bit deep over here. There's an uprooted tree. And the water's running over there. We can try to go around, see how far we can get up the stream. Here. Let's see if I can get over this way to the river. There's a waterfall there. As we know that waterfall from episode 2. We have this pond, or this lake, I should say. Now, I don't see any moose mans around here, but they definitely came through this way. We'll have to go around on the other side to see where he could have gone. Right, so we got a moose on the loose in these parts, and it's not good. Who knows where it could be off to next? We gotta keep an eye out for him. We gotta make sure he doesn't get far. We gotta make sure we can find him before something bad happens, because something bad could happen, and that's not good. But before we do that, we're just gonna see if we can find anything up at the watering hole from episode 2, right up this way. If you remember, it said there's a lake monster up there. You know, this area is rather flooded. It might not be safe to pass through here, but here we can try to, if we can go under and make our way through. Let's just crawl. It is very muddy and very sticky. And by sticky, I don't mean like, well, it is sticky in the word meaning of sticky, but also there are a lot of sticks, which is rather ungood. But you know, we slowly make it, and we're up at the passage. Alright, so we crawl right through here, and here we are. The great watering hole from episode 2. Look at that, there's a little duck out there. Looks quite big. He could be a big duck. Very interesting to see. Quite a great sight. No moose man, but we love to see all animals around here. Alright, and as we come back down the pass, we've come to find where we were before. And we come back to the big open lands that we found ourselves in previously. Alright, mates, I think that little mud pile, I don't think that's mud at all. I think it could be a clue that the moose man ran through here. We'll just have to go onward and see if we can find any more clues. Alright, mates, I found these like tribal markings on this tree. It could be something left by the ancient tribe, could be a warning of the moose man. I really have no idea, but this is a really cool find. We'll have to come back and try and break down these symbols, see if we can date it and figure out when this tribe was around and when this was made. It's very cool. And there's this bunch of sap right there. We do love tree sap because it means the tree is alive. And that's a great thing. That's a good thing we love. Mates, real quick, I've gotten word that it's a fan of the show's birthday, so happy birthday, Bush fan. We're gonna, for your birthday, just for you, we're gonna find the moose man running around. Maybe one day we'll find the green buffalo. That day is not today. I don't think he's here today, but the moose man, we'll get you that moose man. Pinky promise. Let's look at that. Look at that little pine cone right there. Now, fun fact about the tribal forest, pine cones are actually really important in their culture because they're said to bring good life to people who use them. I don't know how you'd use a pine cone, but I'm no tribal man, so they're much more wise and smart than I am. They know how to use a pine cone to get good life. Alright, mates, the tribal bird is definitely around these parts. He's definitely up there somewhere in the canopy. I've been listening to his calls a bit. I'm trying to track him. You might be able to see him. I think that's him right up there. There's like a little orange spot, but it's going to be very hard to see. Now, alright, mate, so, fun fact about the tribal bird. I'm going to try to get a closer look at him. So they're obviously named by the tribal people who live in these parts, but a nice thing about them, they're said to be a good omen for the tribal people. If you remember from episode 2, we had that tribal totem. They're said to be, they brought the sticks and wood from their nests to be built into the totem that resembles the chief. But yeah, they're very important to the culture of the tribal people. It's really cool that there's one flying around here. They're quite rare. Hopefully one day we can get a much closer look at them because they are really beautiful to see up close. Or so I've heard. I've never seen one myself, but I would love to see one in person one day. But unfortunately, I don't think today is that day, because today we have to find the moose man and not the tribal bird. That'll be another day, another episode. Alright, mates, we're headed over to the lake now. We're going to see if there are any trails or signs or evidence that the moose man has been around these parts. Hopefully we'll be able to find something, but I'm not too sure. He seems to be quite an elusive creature. He doesn't seem to leave a lot of trails behind. He doesn't seem to leave much to find him with. But I mean, that's why he's such a elusive character in the tribal myths, because he's hard to find, but easy to be killed by, assuming he's violent. We're gonna go a bit further down, see if we have any luck in the brush. I don't know how much the moose man relies on density, but he could very much rely on density. Yeah, I'm gonna go down to the little dip where we can see the lake good and see. Maybe he's grazing over on the other side. Who knows? We will soon enough. Alright, mates, here we are. coming to the little dip in the lake. We can get a good view of all the wondrous water that we may find. I'm gonna go down this rock and not slip like I almost just did. Alright. What's that? Oh, there's something there. I don't know what that could be. It's very interesting looking. If you remember for episode 2, that over there, I believe, is our shopping cart. And these, I think the other one, yeah, you can kind of see it through the brush. I'll try to go further this way to get a better look at it. I think right here is going to be our best view for where we are for the lake. And look at that. Oh, look at those. Those are some, what are those? Some geese. Always love geese. I would love one day, maybe today even, if we could go back on that edge of the forest, because we've actually never been down that part. That would be a very interesting thing to investigate. Because you never know, those are some undiscovered lands. Perhaps the moose man could be lurking back there. That would be rather interesting. I would love to check that area out. Mates, you really got to appreciate just how beautiful the scenery of the tribal forest is. You got 2 bodies of water, the lake and the watering hole. You have a nice long forest. It's just such a nice place. The dark forest, like as much as I love the dark forest, that place can get a bit scary at times. But the tribal forest, is just a lovely place to be. You know, part of me is wondering if the lake monster from the watering hole can get into this lake through the stream. I'm not 100% sure how likely that is, but part of me is hoping not, because if it can get into this, it can get to every body of water around these parts, and that is a monster we don't want unleashed. But you know, I think considering how long you stayed in Tribal Forest, I'm willing to bet this ecosystem is a great place for him. Has all the food and shelter and water. Well, of course he'd have water. He's a lake monster. He lives in water. But it has all the things you would need to live in this place. Why would he leave? Why would he risk going somewhere without the stuff he needs? If I were that lake monster, I'd stay around these parts. But if he were to ever leave, that could be... who knows what could happen. That'd be like Pandora's box being opened, and we don't want that. Being said, if the lake monster did escape and is in an unknown body of water, we'd go get him. We'd go find him. We'd investigate every lake in the whole land, and we'd track him down. Because that's what we do on Into the Bush. We track down ancient monsters. The green buffalo, the moose man, the lake monster if need be. And yeah, we'd go find him and we'd bring him back to his natural habitat. Alright mates, you can hear some beautiful birds up there singing their songs to the creatures of the forest. Beautiful, beautiful songs. Always gotta love it. I don't know where that tribal bird went, but we'll see if we can find him in a little ways away. Alright mates, I have no idea. This moose man is just elusive. I have no idea what... Wait a minute. Oh my god, mates. Oh my god, he's sleeping. Look at him, he's sleeping over there. Oh my god. I'm gonna try to approach quietly so he doesn't wake up and get startled. Oh my god, it's the moose man. He's just sleeping right here. Moose man! Oh my god, he's getting him. Hey, no! Mate, come back! No, mate! Oh god! No! This is too fast! Oh my god, he's running away, oh god. Alright mates, I got him. I got the moose man. He's a bit of an angry fella. He probably doesn't like being caught. How's it going today, moose man? Yeah, he's quite the moose man. We're gonna ask him a few questions to learn about how he lives in the forest. So, Mr. Moose Man, how's your diet? Do you what do you eat on a usual day?
Ants.
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 All right. Where do you live in this nice forest? Over there. All right. What do you have any natural predators around these parts? No. All right. What else can you tell us about your moose adventures?
I like ants.
All right. Well, that was very enlightening, Mr. Moose Man. Yeah. All right, mates. You know me. I'm not gonna keep an animal away from his habitat. So we're gonna let this wonderful creature go. All right, Mr. Moose Man, you're free to go. All right. Be free, little Moose Man. Goodbye. Be free. And we watch as our new Moose Man friend goes into the bush. Alright, mates, so I'm going to end the episode there, but overall I think we had a pretty interesting day. We found the monstrous Moose Man run around these parts, and we let him go, but I'm sure we'll see him another day. I'm sure he has a greater role in all this, but we'll just have to wait and find out. We'll definitely be back to these parts, whether it's to find the Moose Man, to find the tribal bird, or whatever cryptids may be lurking in these parts. Maybe one day we'll go find the lake monster. But that is for another day when we go in to the bush. Moose on the loose.